Hey, it's Curtis. Student Success HQ is dedicated to providing the opportunities for students to learn how to learn without spending all of their time studying. Oh, isn't that a great premise? So if you're grade 7 through to grade 12, or even if you're in post-secondary education, we're going to focus on the skills that you can learn so that you don't have to spend as much time studying, you don't have to spend as much time learning, and your actual grades can go up. Now, a lot of this comes down to the development of some techniques and some establishing of some habits, and thusly, you can be outstanding and you can take on anything. Now, the first book that we're actually going to utilize here today, and on part one anyways, is Learning How to Learn. And the premise on this book is how to succeed in school without spending all your time studying, a guide for kids and for teens. I'm thinking grade 7 through to grade 12, but even post-secondary. Now, the author, Barbara Oakley, who was a PhD, a professor of engineering at Oakland University, became very interested in this topic simply because all the way through high school she failed her math and her science classes. And in her late 20s, she decided to take on the tackle of science and mathematics and earned her way to become a professor of engineering. The second author or co-author on this is Sednowski. He's a professor at Sauk City for biological sciences and also directs the computational neurology laboratory. And then finally, McConville is a deputy lead at Bedall School, which is one of England's most prestigious private schools. So we have years of experience here. Now, I've got a stack of books here. I got 21. It's not any one book that's going to have all the magic, but I want to do a review of each of them and come up with best practices. I've got 35 years of teaching grade 7 through to grade 12. As an administrator, I've sat in on thousands of classrooms and lessons. So let's start on this. Let's take a look and let's see what we can learn. So bear with me. I need about 10 minutes of your time. I'm just going to move these books out of the way. Learning How to Learn, Part 1. Note to parents and teachers and to students. Understanding the brain. How the brain works can make learning more fun and less frustrating. And I know, myself included, there's subjects that actually came quite easy to me, and those are the ones I actually became quite passionate about. However, you can still learn subjects that don't come easy simply by developing the appropriate skills of learning. Active involvement in your learning is always necessary. It's not a passive endeavor, and it's no different than playing sports or learning how to play a musical instrument. Now, you have an advantage at a young age. You learn these skills, you apply these skills, and you have more time to embed them, which in the long run will make your learning journey much, much, much easier. She talks about the problem with passion, and Barbara Oakley, she struggled all the way through school and failed everything associated with math and science. Humanities, in terms of English and social studies, was a gifted area for her, and so she figured she just was not good at math and science. Now, that's still a false premise. All students can learn to improve their learning. You will have areas where you shine stronger, but you can shine strong in all areas. The techniques and lessons shared with you will not necessarily be easy to learn, but they can be learned over time and you can become a much stronger student. These techniques can also be transferred to sports, video games, music, anything that you really want to learn, you can apply these skills. This will make your years in schooling less frustrating and open future horizons that perhaps you never thought you could do. And you think of Barbara Oakley in high school and saying that sometime in the future you're going to be a professor of engineering, she would have laughed and said, not a chance. Easy does it. So sometimes trying too hard can be actually part of the problem. Sometimes you need to be less focused in order to become a better learner. That's weird. They're telling you we don't want you to focus on your learning. But neuroscience has determined that the brain learns in two different ways, and it has a focused mode and it has a diffuse mode. Now, the focus mode is when you're trying to learn something new to turn on the brain and get the learning process started. And you actually sit for a period of time and you focus, not a long period of time. And then you move into a diffuse mode. You walk it up, you walk away from what you're doing, and you do something else for a period of time. We're going to talk about the Pomodoro technique here in a few minutes. Diffuse mode is when your brain is relaxed and it's free. You can daydream, you can doodle. This allows you to make imaginative connections between ideas, leading to creativity. Important, very, very important. Your brain can only be in one mode at a time. So you can only be in focused mode or you can only be in diffuse mode. The two cannot meet. If you're in focused mode and you're distracted by your phone and you switch to go look at something on your phone and then you want to come back and focus again, you've now turned the wheels backwards and have to pretty much start over in terms of your learning. Switching between focus and diffuse modes. So, ever been stuck on a math problem? Leave it and focus on another subject. Go for a walk, have a nap, or exercise. When you do this, you shift into diffuse mode. That struggle in learning is still a very important part of the process. And then when you step away from that struggle and do something else, your mind is still going to work on the challenge, and it will eventually reveal the answer to you. And it might reveal it to you in the middle of the night. It might reveal it to you in the shower in the morning or when you're walking to school. Sometimes when we get stuck, we focus and try even harder when the best approach is to step away and focus on something else. You ever get mad? You ever get super frustrated and throw your pen down or whatever the case may be? I can't do this. And this isn't important to me. Well, when am I ever going to use this? All of those basic arguments. Step away. This gives your diffuse mode a chance to work on the problem. Going back and forth between focus and diffuse modes will allow you to master anything from various subjects to sports, to musical instruments, to martial arts, and the list can go on and on and on. Okay, let's talk about procrastination. I'll do it later. Honest. Being a teacher here for the last 35 years, I've seen so many students struggle with procrastination, and ironically, it's not just students, adults are faced with this scenario too. And it's like having to sit down and write an essay, and I just can't get started. And what I would always tell students, just start. And 5 minutes into it, you will settle in and you'll be ready to go. Procrastination is the enemy of high quality learning. If you procrastinate, you often run out of time. Time and practice work together to allow you to cement in new ideas into your brain. It's like preparing for a test. You could put it off to the night before and study for 3 or 4 hours and go into the test the next day and bomb it. You've used the wrong strategy, and you need to extend that strategy over a period of time so you can use active recall and spaced repetition. Those are very important techniques. Distraction and procrastination could go hand in hand. Your phone, your social media, gaming, to steal time from us and to cause us to procrastinate. We love those things. They're easy. They're enjoyable. Most subjects can become enjoyable once you become good at them. So here's the magic. Just get started. After a short period of time, the insular cortex calms down and the pain with starting actually goes away. It's like trying to write an essay. Students oftentimes want to write the perfect paper without any editing. And they get stuck and they stall out and they get frustrated. The magic is just to write. Don't worry about it being perfect. Pomodoro technique. This is one of the areas that we want you to become magical at. Shut off all distractions. Set your phone aside, turn off your music, turn off the TV, anything that gets in the way of you being able to focus. If you got a pet, get them out of the room. Then you're going to set a timer. You could use your phone for this, I guess, for 25 minutes. Don't worry about necessarily finishing the task that you're focusing on. This is focus mode. Do not switch between tasks. So when you focus, you're going to focus for 25 minutes. You're not going to do anything else but that one thing. If you get distracted by an email, a text message, a phone call, and then you have to go back again, you've just defeated yourself. You're going to have to start all over again. And this is about embedding the learning in your brain. And we're going to talk about brain development later on. Get going and focus on the task as best you can. Now, the best part is after 25 minutes, reward yourself. Play some music, dance, look at some YouTube. This is diffuse mode. 5 or 10 minutes. Set a timer and then repeat the process if needed. You go back into 25 minutes and then 5 to 10 minutes of sort of relaxation and diffuse mode, and then back into focus mode again for 25 minutes. Oftentimes too, let's say you're doing homework, you always want to do the easiest things first. They recommend you start with the thing that is the hardest to do first. Interesting. And these are just little techniques that you can utilize as you go along the way. So I've seen students struggle through school. I've seen grade 10 go bad, grade 11 go bad, and then I've seen miraculous things happen in grade 12. And I've seen students that suddenly discover that they can be an excellent student and everything starts to fall into place. Now, some of that is maturation. Between grade 10 and 11 and into grade 12, you've got 3 years there and your brain matures and your frontal cortex is still developing, at least up to the age of 25. So learning is something you're going to have to do all your life. And even when you finish school, and I remember when I finished high school, I never want to learn anything again. And yet I went on and did a journeyman's ticket, a trade. I went on and did a Bachelor of Education. I went on and did a master's degree. And I'm starting now on another career as well. So learning is fundamental. And learning the skills and the techniques of how to do it well is what will support you and actually give you more free time. Thanks for your time.